What is going on, guys? This is Spade, or Aaron, whatever you prefer to call me as. Yesterday, I watched a video by Maximilian on his YouTube channel titled Why Final Fantasy VII is So Important to So Many People. And I just kind of want to touch on that because watching a lot of Max's videos regarding Final Fantasy VII, we share the same exact reasoning in terms of how it makes us feel, etc. Right? But for me, kind of cuts a little bit deeper. And the video I'm talking about is this one. If you haven't watched it, this particular one, he goes over showing the reactions from when people were seeing the remake reveal trailer live and stuff like that. But for me, it cuts a little bit more home. I'm 36 years old. When Final Fantasy VII came out, I remember I got my PlayStation 1 in 1997. That's when I got it. I actually got it in March of 97, I think was when it was released. And then for Christmas of that year, I remember asking for 2 games for Christmas of 97. One of those games being Final Fantasy VII, and the other of those games being Jet Moto 2. And I'm sure many of you will know both of those games. But little did I know Final Fantasy VII would change my outlook on games entirely. Being 13 years old, I was used to playing like racing games, fighting games, stuff like that, Mortal Kombat, etc. And that was my experience with games. I never really had anything tying me into story-related content or anything of that sort. So I have never played a Final Fantasy title or any of that sort. Never played Zelda or nothing at this point in time. Final Fantasy VII, I remember I had Tobal number 1, if you guys remember that game, and it came with a Final Fantasy VII demo disc. I played that demo so many times, and it blew me away. Like graphically, I was like, this is amazing. The animations, the fighting, I loved it. It blew my mind. So that's what cemented me in asking for the full release game for Christmas. And I remember getting it, and I remember the first time I played that game, I stayed up I played it for 11 hours straight. I played that game for 11 hours straight. And then my mom was like, all right, it's time to go to bed or you're going to get an ass whooping. So I went to bed, right? Naturally. So I turned it off. And then whenever I sat down to play again the next day, I turned it back on and I had no saved data. I had to restart the entire 11 hours again. And that's whenever I found out that now you had to have memory cards to save your progress of games to keep track of where you were. So now I had to ask my mom and dad, hey, can I get a memory card? Because otherwise I can't save my games. And they're like, why didn't you ask for that for Christmas? And it was like, I didn't know I needed it for Christmas, Mom. You know, so that's kind of where it came into. But it took me, I did finish the game and I 100% completed it. And it took me a full year to play through this game, do everything in it. And a particular point in the video right here, in this particular video, Max was talking about going to his buddy's house and watching his buddy farm chocobos. That hit home with me because I actually had to go through that. And I remember I was sitting in the floor of my living room racing chocobos over and over and over to get them to S rank so you could breed them in the hopes of RNGesus giving you either a brown or a green chocobo, and then getting either the brown, or actually both brown and green, racing them at Gold Saucer, getting them up to S rank and breeding them, hoping for a gold one. And I remember one time it just gave me a yellow one and I was like, yes, I got it. So I went to try to go to the island to get my Knights of the Round, and I couldn't go out on the water because it was just a regular yellow chocobo. I was devastated. So the odyssey continued of going back and racing and breeding. And you had to use specific greens too. I forget the name of the greens, but you had to feed them specific food as well to try to up the odds of getting a gold one. So that hit home with me. That hit home with me so bad. But the thing that makes it cut even deeper for myself is both of my parents died my mom died when I was 19 in a drunk driving accident. My dad actually died 4 or 5 years ago of cancer, of lung cancer. So the reason why I say it hits a little bit harder for me is my memories of this game, of sitting around as a kid, playing it in my living room with my mom and dad around me, asking me what the hell I'm doing, what does this do, what does that do. That's what resonates with me. It's reliving those memories, because yeah, the game was great. It had a huge impact on me. It was the first game that I have an emotional tie to. But there's also other things there for me. And those other things being that it triggers things that I forgot, like breeding chocobos and my dad asking me, what the fuck is this? Why? He's like, why are you having to breed chickens in a video game? He's like, what is this? And he just didn't understand. And I get it, but it's just little things like that, just like how music triggers memories, how smells trigger memories. Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be a big thing for me because whenever I hear the music, I hear the names of the people, the subtleties of the ambiance. It just takes me back to when I was a kid and when both my parents were present. And I could actually interact with them and be like, Dad, look at this. This is so cool. Or Mom, look at this. This is so cool. Dude, I got to dress up like a girl to get in this thing. My dad's like, I don't want you playing that gay stuff. Like these memories, are pretty crazy to me. And that's why Final Fantasy VII is a really big deal to me. And I don't want anyone to hate on my dad for saying that. He's an old school Navy diehard guy, and it was pre all that stuff. And he actually was very open-minded, so it's just whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I'm holding back tears right now, but it's one of those things. Like I miss my parents every day. Every day. I haven't got to pick up the phone and call my mom in almost 20 years, very near 20 years. And that I haven't got to pick up the phone and call my dad in 5 years. My mom has never seen her grandchildren ever. And my dad has never got to see his grandson ever. So it's it cuts deep for me. Cuts really deep for me in regards to where Final Fantasy touches me. It's a big one on my end. I love Final Fantasy VII. I love the story behind it. I love the intricacies of the character development. I love it all. And then the fact that it can touch me and help trigger memories that I probably forgot of or anything like that. It's a full welcome situation to me and for me, because some of my fondest memories are just hanging out and playing video games and just having my mom and dad just sit there and watch and ask me what's going on. And hopefully some of you guys can relate to that. I really don't know what the point of this video was, but it's just what Final Fantasy means to me. Final Fantasy VII in particular. And I know it means a lot to a lot of people globally, but ultimately it means a lot to everyone in its own way. Now, Max touched on a few points of it was the first game people really got into emotion-wise, which was true. And he also stated that if you had a PlayStation, you had to have Final Fantasy VII. And again, if you didn't, you were missing out. It was either I had friends that were either playing Final Fantasy or Metal Gear Solid, and most of them were playing Metal Gear Solid because they were like, "Oh, Final Fantasy's for girls," and I was like, "What?" It's like, do you not even know what's going on in this game? People are just getting shanked. But either way, that's what it means to me. It's just a way to help me even more so remember my mom and dad since they passed, and it's a big deal to me. And I still even have my PS1, like my original PlayStation memory card with my Final Fantasy VII data on it. I love that game. Love that game. It's a good game. But yeah, So either way, I'm gonna put this as in response to this video. Hopefully Max sees it and we say where we're at. But either way, thank you, Max. I really want to say thank you, Maximilian, for your content. It's great, dude. I've been watching you since Black Ops 2, when your channel was just Miles 923. Been watching you a long time, man. Your videos help me appreciate fighting games more. I've always loved fighting games, but I appreciated them more because of how you put your take on them, especially with the assist me stuff. That was always funny. And also, like, seeing your love, not just for video games, but for Final Fantasy VII, and seeing how you react to things, like, it's good, man. You know, you're a good dude, and I wish you well. I hope you have a good day, dude. Have a good one.